episode of Lessons with Larry. I'm sitting here with these distinguished gentlemen. To my right, I have would you like to
Marcus
introduce?
Brown, Chest Frog Farms.
Okay. And we have George Grundy, the second.
Cal Clemmons.
Yeah, Calvin Clemmons.
Yes, Calvin Clemmons.
Yes, sir. So yeah, we have a couple subjects that we want to speak on tonight. Hopefully you can enjoy it and get something from it. And if you like, you can also send a message in, and if you have any questions or anything you would like to add to it, we'll be more than willing to use it, or address it, shall I say. Okay, so what's the first subject we want to start with, Mr. Grundy?
Well, we just lost O.J. Simpson. I know you guys were speaking about that. So, what's your thoughts on O.J. with his trial tribulations and his passing?
Okay, well, from my point of view, what I seen Mr. Simpson do, I seen he went through a whole lot. And like they say, you don't become great till you gone. So now all of a sudden people thinking about the juice, they thinking about the Hertz commercials and this, that, and the third. However, when he was here, you know what I mean, he had been vilified, although he had beat the case. You know what I mean? It's kind of fishy as to why when we beat the case, you know what I mean, you still guilty. But if even in the public opinion, but when other people beat the case, it's never spoke on again.
Those cops that beat up Rodney King weren't vilified. The cops that beat up Rodney King were not vilified when they were exonerated.
Yeah, exactly.
Prime example.
So that was my take on it. Anybody else want to speak on?
It's an ironic parallel. There used to be a athlete by the name of Paul Robeson. This man was 3 different levels. He played football, basketball, and baseball. Was all this, all that. But he decided, I'm going to go become a lawyer. He went and became a lawyer. Didn't like that too much. He got into acting, got into singing, became one of the greatest African-American, internationally renowned African-Americans ever. He got to the heights of fame and prestige in America. They would go to him for advice and ask him about different things in the black community. He made this movie called Emperor Jones, which is even more ironic, about a black man rising to the heights and being crushed by a European system. Paul Robeson did not agree with everything, all the tenets of capitalism, and he had some socialistic ways. So a gentleman by the name of Joseph McCarthy came along and started spitting questions at him and says, you're an American. And guess what happened to Paul Robeson? Without a trial, he was vilified. And all of a sudden, his record sales stopped. He couldn't get a concert. They took his passport away for a little while. And this man had not broken the law.
And they labeled him a communist, didn't they?
They labeled him a communist. But this is the same thing that O.J. went through. And I'm not trying to say that these guys are the same, but it seems like in America, when a black man really makes it sometimes, they make sure that if he don't play ball the right way, they will get their payback and they pound the flesh.
And sometimes they even not to cut you off, but sometimes they even get to it's like no matter how high you go, or no matter how successful you think you are, we always can we got this little trump card that we can hit to remind you that you are black.
When he got sentenced in Las Vegas for trying to take his own property back.
His own memorabilia. No, he talking about
O.J.
Simpson
now.
At this point.
That was the American justice system say, yeah, you paid your way out of that first case, but you ain't getting out of this. We getting our pound of flesh. And they sent him to jail for an extreme amount of time.
For his own memorabilia, own trophy.
For a simple, it was basically a simple assault, and he didn't put his hands on anybody. The other guys put their hands on other people, and they turned evidence because they wanted O.J.
Right.
You had somebody who actually committed the crime, but instead of going after the guy who actually committed the crime, they said we want O.J. because that's a bigger fish.
He got away with.
And the other guys were white, that of course, but they will come and get you, and that proves O.J. is somebody should write the script in the movie, and it should be a warning for all black men in America that never forget where you come from and how unscrupulous the man can be if you upset him.
That's a good point. What you got to say, Mr. Grundy?
Me, I just look at it all and say that it mirrors everything. You know, like when you look at Mike Tyson, Diddy,
Mike
Kobe
Tyson.
Bryant,
Tupac.
Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all of the men that have stood up in order to make change have been attacked either by taking their name, saying that they were sexual predators, some kind of money laundering or something like that.
The sexual predator aspect is something that they kind of put the jacket they put on us. Oh, they sexual deviants. They love sex. You can get them with sex.
Birth of a Nation. That was the first propaganda of that.
Right.
When that
After
movie
Birth of a Nation, Ku Klux Klan membership shot up 400, 500%.
So Birth of the Nation was one of the first silent films ever made, and it was about the black man being a brutal beast.
Yeah.
And, taking his liberties on a white woman, the innocent white woman. And so that got into people's brains, and then it turned into a rolling snowball of destroying black men.
There is the ignorant mass of people that follow, that play the trumpet and that follow certain other people, and they are willing to believe whatever. They say that we are so immoral and dirty, but yet they wanted us to raise and breastfeed their kids. They say we lazy, but who do they have doing their work for them? But the story they give the poor, ignorant white person is the lazy, shiftless Negro of stereotypes. But those in power who are putting out that story know the truth and know the hypocrisy of the truth. Everything they say about us is countered by their own history. We raising their babies, feeding their babies. We doing their work. We're developing plans and doing science and learning how to read better than them without permission, without a system or support structures. So everything they say about us, we ignorant, we slovenly, we this, that, and other thing. And who do they hire to clean their houses? Or who do they used to hire to clean the houses?
Who was never hired, was forced.
Yeah.
Well, even after the forced thing, they all had black maids and black cooks. You want somebody dirty and nasty cooking your food? There's just hypocrisy abound with the whole situation.
Okay, Brother Cal, what's your opinion on that?
In my opinion, I think OJ, he found out what he had been told early on in his early childhood. Like he forgot, he came in touch of himself. See, what happened to OJ is that when you become a product of the environment of the Caucasian, is that when you lay down with the man's people, he grew up as a superstar, and he was a bigger star, one of the most biggest ostracized, just publicized star out of all times, all of sports history other than Muhammad Ali. He was more, just all over the world. He was known, O.J. Simpson. O.J. He had no idea. He had lost contact of who he was.
Which is confusing because he was in Hollywood. He was out there in Hollywood with people like Jim Brown, and I don't agree with everything that Jim Brown did or said, but Jim Brown was an activist, and he was a black man, and he wasn't going to allow them to do certain things to him in his career. And Jim Brown made movies and did a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. But but OJ, like I said, he had his wrongdoing and he did wrong, and but also what OJ failed to realize right up until he was found guilty, he never accept the fact that he was black.
When he was found guilty in Las Vegas.
No, what I'm saying I'm saying to when OJ was at university, high school, when he was got a scholarship, they put the mic in his face. He's always one of the first professional speaking African American male figures in this world that in sports that could translate his language and speak American English on the man's articulated on the white man's level. You know what I'm saying? So he immediately became a shiner.
He could code switch better than the average African American.
So he was given the trophies. He had the trophies. And OJ, when interviewed, even leaving USC, being drafted to the NFL.
Who did he go to, the Buffalo Bills?
Exactly, and they asked him, so OJ, what about you're black? He said, I'm not black. He said, I'm OJ. See, and that's what we fail to realize. And some of those things come back to hunt OJ as well. because he lost touch with himself. He found out when he was found guilty, when he got arrested, he found out that he was black.
But what do you believe he was wrong for saying he was OJ, having a thought process of enlightenment, saying that he's a human being?
I am
No.
greater than racism.
He was my thing. He said that in a pivotal time, in the most struggling times when you were being German shepherds were being sicked on people for civil rights. He said it in a time that when, as a leader of his position that we looked up to, we needed him to say something to be related to us. And when he came and when he fell off his throne, it's the people that he stood on that was beneath him is what rose to his occasion in his defense. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Al Calling had his back. That's a road dog for you.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I agree with you. He talking about basically the black people. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because we the ones was cheering for him, we praying
cheering for him, praying for him. It was us that.
But then,
Well, that moment when do you remember?
Even the woman that he had buried his children with.
Yeah.
You know, she wasn't she didn't look like my mama.
There are moments that people talk about. They remember exactly where they were.
Oh yes, indeed.
But yeah.
And that was one of those pivotal moments in American history.
I know exactly.
White
where I was
folks
at.
and black
Jackson
folks
Prison.
remember where they were when they heard the verdict.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
It's
indeed.
like my parents talk about the Kennedy assassination. We got the OJ verdict.
Because he was bigger than life as an athlete. He had, like I said, he was given even the people that the girl that he dated he was accused of killing. He was given permission to date her at 16 years old. He was a grown man. He dated that white. The parents sold their kid to OJ. They just gave it to him. She was a child. You understand what I'm saying? She's 16 years old. This man in the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they don't talk about that part.
Yeah. You know, and he became bigger than life. You know what I'm saying? And when he crossed the line, they let him know that he was African American, and that's the way he was treated. And that's when the black families we pulled together like we supposed to, and the brother that's in the down in the dumps, we pulled together and we stood by OJ.
Sherman Tribble said, Cube did say the system is not set for black men it's set for black men to fail. Sherman also said, he said, I'm OJ, not black. And then the last statement, he said, the money had him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's not just the money though. It's that whole. You almost step into a different paradigm. I would believe. I've never been there, but when you got white folks giving you stuff and hugging up on you and loving up on you, you almost might believe that racism don't exist because you're not seeing it from the brother side anymore.
He never seen it. He never seen racism until he was arrested.
Right. Okay.
His exposure. He was always the $1 million man, the smile. He always was a gifted, good-looking kid. That in sports, he always had his way all the way to the top and when he fell.
Would you say he's the first victim of cancel culture?
You know what? Hey,
cancel that hurts.
Hey,
cancel that OJ. Cancel all that.
Hey, I can't say that you don't have a point. I mean, at least far back as I can remember.
Yeah.
You know
he was definitely.
And that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up because even when you talk about the cancel culture, now explain to me if you think that everything, if any of the viewers, anybody even in this room, if you think that, or maybe you haven't thought, but if you think about it, how can someone that you don't even know decides who you gonna mess with and who you not gonna mess with? They can cancel. They'll talk about somebody so bad. They can cancel you. They can cancel me. I mean, we ain't nobody, and they still can cancel.
Chappelle made a point about this. Chappelle said they tried to cancel me, but they can't cancel me because I already got mine. I got my farm that I can always go back to. I got this, that, and other thing. I got my nest egg set up. So if they ever come after me, what they gonna do? They can't take what I already have vested and set aside as the safety. As you know, you always have your safety package.
Safety net.
He got his safety net under him. He lives out inside of a community that loves him, and it's not Hollywood. Sometimes you have to leave Hollywood.
I think he live in Ohio somewhere.
Yeah,
he got a farm in Ohio.
Down there with John Cougar Mellencamp and whatnot.
He was a smart brother too.
He was. He really was. Really is. He's still a smart brother. You know.
He's a smart brother
for real.
But
So with that, let's go into. We spoke on code switching, and that's one of the things that we had on the topics to speak on is code switching. So OJ.
For those that might not know, can you define code switching for those who may not know?
So to my understanding of code switching is when you are changing the way that you typically speak in order to fit the environment that you're in.
Right.
So, like, if you're,
what's up, dog? But then when white folks
No,
are
by
around,
N.
how
You
you
use
doing
the
there,
N
brother?
word.
or
Yeah,
you,
well.
the difference between hanging with your friends and talking to your grandma or your parents.
Right.
Like, you're not gonna say, "What up, ma?" Yeah, "Hello, mother." "Hey, dad, how y'all doing?" And instead of saying to your dudes, like, "What up, though?" You know, things of that nature. Whatever the slang is at the time, you know, and you change it according to your audience.
Oh, I you know where you see the biggest. Not because I want you to get back on your code switching. I'm not gonna take your point, but you know what I've seen. Well, what I can say the biggest code switching that you see that pop in automatically. Don't need no help. You could take somebody who's just the worst of the worst, as far as even their grammar, their mannerisms and everything, and you put them in one of them courtrooms, and they will address them people as if, yes, sir, no,
went to
sir.
Harvard, huh?
What? They ain't never seen them people. You
Yes,
think they
yes, Your Honor.
You think they Harvard graduates?
That is
You hear
correct.
me? You hear me? I'm talking about ain't never seen these people a day in their life. Will cuss their mama out, cuss you out.
All of a sudden they got a hard
they
T
gonna
and
kick
a
the
hard
dog.
R
You
on
get
the
them
word.
right down there. Listen, you put them in any courtroom, and you understand, baby, and they make the best witnesses. They will sit and remember stuff from when they was in their diapers. You hear me? And tell it, and they gonna tell what they know and guess the rest. But it's just crazy how you can watch. Now, I see people who may be disrespectful towards people, you know, and I said we need to get back to respecting ourselves first,
sir. Yes,
and
sir.
then respecting our fellow men, fellow women, our fellow people. We need to just
You're
get back to
touching on
respect.
something with self-esteem there when you start
That's
talking
true.
about that
That's true.
respect. But on
Right on.
that code switching issue, my first prime example of it was my mama get on the phone back in the days before cell phones, and you could tell if she was talking to white folks or black folks because her voice would change, and you knew to shut the hell up.
Get out the room. Don't make them. Yeah,
Don't get in trouble. That ain't auntie on the phone.
yeah, sure enough. Yeah.
So we see our parents code switch, and everybody code switches to a degree. Sometimes men are code switch around women.
Well, you have to be. You have to be
I mean, it's
able
called
to.
being a flexible human being.
Right.
But it touches on self-esteem when you are afraid to be yourself.
Right.
Because white folks enter the room, and all of a sudden you get uncomfortable.
Or you're
and
afraid to
start
be yourself
making-
with your own people.
Right.
You know you ain't hard, so why is you playing hard? Thug need a hug. All you need is a hug. So why don't you just go on and calm down, pipe down, take that little ugly smile off your face, you know what I'm saying, and just be real. Hey.
Yeah.
And you get way more attention that way.
I don't think there's anything wrong with code switching, but we have to make sure that we're doing it for the right reason. That we're not just doing it to placate, quote unquote, those in power. We should be comfortable with
But
the
that's
way
what
we
they code switch for. They're not gonna code switch for you. That's just like if you was
Even
walking
our
down the
television
sidewalk.
programs
They,
sometimes are
hold
code
on, hold on.
switch.
If you was walking down the sidewalk, they would walk towards you and try to make you move before they move. But if it was the opposite, somebody else walking down the sidewalk with a different complexion, maybe lighter skin, you know what I'm saying? They'll get right out their way. Oh, excuse me. You know what I mean? Just come on, man.
That's right.
Seriously, that's we wrong. We we dead wrong.
This is true.
Go ahead, Mr. Grundy. I apologize for
No, that was to y'all, so y'all can speak about it.
okay, Cal.
Okay.
Cal.
Well,
talk to us.
that's what gave OJ his success, was his ability to articulate himself very well.
To code switch.
Right, to code switch.
But was he code switching, or was
Or
that how
that
he
just
was
the way
raised?
That was him.
just
That
the
was
way
him.
he spoke.
He was groomed. He
But
was
then you
groomed.
take somebody
My
like
man.
Magic. Magic Johnson went to Michigan State for 4 years, and they owe him a refund. Because when he first came out, Magic could not articulate himself correctly. And when they tried to give him a talk show, and when he go on talk shows, sometimes he'd be speaking in hood, speaking in broken phrases, not fully articulating words. And he had to literally go back to school or some kind of speech class, because now he articulates himself very well. Now.
I think did he have a
But in the
stutter
early
problem?
90s.
Yeah, most of them, Steve Harvey, a lot of those guys, they had to take that to fit in.
Right.
You know. They want you to have a proper English. You know, they don't want
King
broken.
James
Yeah.
version.
Hello.
Well, Muhammad Ali was articulate, but our Muhammad Ali kept it real.
He was
He
one of
wasn't-
the realists. One
right.
of the realists.
So he might. I
Him and
don't
Malcolm.
think he was necessarily code switching there. I think he was just
No, he wasn't gonna switch because he'd tell them in their face. No, he'd
rumble,
tell them in
young
their
man,
face.
rumble.
All you gotta do is go to YouTube or anything and
Oh,
pull up
yeah,
some of his
yeah.
old.
At
He'd
least-
tell them in their
he
face,
always
man.
told you what it was.
Remember when? Hold up, I remember this as a little boy. Remember when he checked Howard Cosell? Said, "Man, I made you. You ain't nobody without me.
Yeah.
You wasn't nothing. You ain't fought nail. You ain't punched nail person. I made you. Don't you forget it. I mean, for real.
This is Cassius Clay.
Come on, man.
Getting his place.
His name, trying to make him keep calling him Cassius Clay when he said, "My name is Muhammad Ali. Don't call me Cassius Clay. That was my slave name."
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now, see, they don't. You're not gonna see them. You're not gonna see that being perpetuated in the media. None of that because that masculine man. And the way they demasculating our little, that's why I started, that's why I got my mentorship program, Lots of Love Mentors for Success, where I'm trying to create these young boys to become mentors. But most importantly, I make sure that they get a double dose of masculine energy. They get the masculine energy with love. I ain't talking about, hey, no, man. No, let me explain something to you. We'll make this make sense.
There's nothing wrong with a drill instructor.
No, I mean, but it ain't always needed. I ain't gonna take no sledgehammer to kill no ant. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna meet you at where you at, and then once I meet you there, I'm gonna try to elevate you even higher.
Right.
So that's my
right. Because also, piggyback off of that, because where you're going with it is because you got to know where the kid at, because you can come at a kid and lose a kid. Yeah. With the being overpowering. You see what I'm saying? That's why when he come at him the way he coming at him, he gonna meet the kid in the middle of the road. See, you can take the wrong kid and come over the top strong with him as a man, and you make him dial down and become inferior, and then you'll lose him. He's like you a bully. He'll take it the wrong way. Cause we have some sensitive children. You don't know where all these kids come from.
I mean, they got a lot of feminine energy. I mean, they around daily, because most of the fathers ain't here, and we know all about that. You know what I'm saying? But the point I was trying to, you're right, I appreciate that. But the point I was trying to make is, just taking these young men and showing them, hold on, man, I got time for you. I got time for you today. Yeah. If I say I'm coming, I'm on my way.
Yes, sir.
You did, I don't care. And I told my boys, I said, look, I'm sharing my most valuable asset with you, which is time. I say, because I can't start it over and I can't get it back. You know what I mean? Now, if I'm investing my time in you, I'm expecting a return. I'm expecting you to be the man that I envision you to be, and I'm expecting you to be better than what you was before I came into your world.
That's exactly right. Amen.
I was with my grandson the other day, and I opened the door for a woman. Now, this woman kind of took exception to me opening the door. Like, I could open the door for myself, whatever. And after the woman walked by with the funky attitude, no thank you, whatever, because I opened the door for a man too, but I believe that young men should open doors.
My boys know.
For women. And I was like, I don't care what the world ever tells you about gender and male and female and all this other stuff. Always open the door for a woman or somebody older than you. And if they get upset, let that be on them. But you are going to be the type of man, I'm going to try and raise you to be the type of man that takes consideration for women, takes consideration for elderly, and for handicap, or whatever is going on with somebody. I think our society is trying to force that out and make kids kind of neutral, which is scary, because then they can float any way possible. But we have to keep instilling those little things like opening the door, what side of the street to walk on when you're walking with a young lady.
Yes, ma'am.
The stuff that my grandparents and my parents instilled in me.
Keep her to the inside.
Yeah, she got to stay on the inside. I teach my baby. She know that.
That's keep cars from splashing or a runaway car.
And that also said that if you're walking with your woman, she's not single. She's not available. Yeah. All of that comes in respect, but when you guys go through something like that, believe it or not, it's a whole lot of gentlemen don't know nothing about this stuff.
Right.
They have no idea because they don't know.
I had to teach my wife where she's supposed to walk. Hold on, baby, you're supposed to be in here. If this car jumped the curb, it's gonna hit you first. You'd rather be out my way where I can push you out the way and I can save myself.
Save you from the car, save you from getting splashed by water or whatever.
All right, and let me ask, since we talking about that, and here's another tidbit. Okay, if you walking with your woman or wife, woman, companion, whoever your woman, hopefully, if you walking with her, who holds the umbrella? Would y'all like for me to tell y'all, or would y'all?
I know what I
take a
would
guess?
do. I don't know what the perfect answer is.
Okay,
but
no.
in the past, I don't care about getting wet, so I would hold it over the woman.
Okay, you would hold the umbrella?
Yeah.
Well, you know who's technically supposed to hold the umbrella? Whoever the tallest. That was just a little FYI. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So a touch of etiquette right there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do that too.
Getting our Emily Post in.
Yeah, I guess I got to keep that one.
We cover every ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what was we at? Not to get us all.
So with that said, let's go into this. So going into the masculinity and proper etiquette and showing respect, how do we translate that into hip hop and these battles and this like currently going on, like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and Drake? Should we just take it as entertainment, or should we change the trajectory of how we interact with the battles?
In my opinion, we should change the trajectory, and I feel like we're not in no position to be trying to battle each other. That's the problem. I feel, now I know about hip hop and I know about this, that, and the third, but in my opinion, I feel like by Kendrick Lamar doing the big thing, to me, that was the most honorable thing he could have did. You know what I mean? When he said something troubled his spirit.
You mean J. Cole?
I mean, J. Cole, yeah, thank you. When J. Cole said something troubled his spirit, that spoke volumes. So how a person feel inside. He said, man, if I could continue this, bringing this man down that look just like me, if I continue that, I can't even look at myself in the mirror.
We need more exemplars like that in our community.
And it's okay to apologize if you're wrong.
Whether it be between athletes, as long as it's between black men and black men, so our kids can learn how to do it.
Come on.
That's exactly right. Because if this man could have took that same energy that he's talking about, if Tupac and Biggie could have took that a whole nother route, do you see what I'm saying? Well, he pulled back and said, I owed his brother an apology.
That Tupac thing is starting to get thicker with the stuff coming out about P. Diddy.
No, what I'm
now.
What I'm
so
saying
I'm not
is,
sure if it's just
no,
East
but
Coast,
I'm,
West Coast.
what I'm saying,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, Tupac,
Stay where you at.
if he could have kept it gangster, because anytime somebody tell you that my fofo make sure your kids won't grow,
that's on site.
That's on site, bro.
On site.
I knew when he said that in '96, I knew that was gonna be a problem for him. So. And by this brother saying, he didn't even go that deep on his lyrics, but I'm saying he knew that he had said something to the point to where I need to bag up off. You know what I'm saying?
But the history of competition in hip hop, from battle dancing to battle raps,
It's different.
from LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee's battle, it's kind of like when you're a kid, you play the dozens. He got me on that one. He got me on that one. And the only way you lose the dozens is how? When you lose your temper and you can't come back anymore, and they just crush you.
But see, in that era that you're speaking on, we wasn't at each other the way we at each other now. People died behind beefs, man. And
Right.
that's so I don't even perpetuate. And as much as I like a good beef on wax or whatever, you look at Eazy-E and Dre, you look at Ice Cube and NWA. I love that. You know what I'm saying?
Roxanne.
Yeah, Roxanne Shantae against UTFO.
Crew. You know what
saying?
you can do.
I loved all that, but wasn't no funerals coming behind. No,
Right, exactly.
no words on wax.
We should be able to have a discourse or a disagreement without violence, or without
Facts. Facts.
without it coming to personal. That's why I did your wife. That's why I got this 44 for your kids. That's why just that. It shouldn't get like that. If we can stay the way Cube came back with no Vaseline, he didn't do any real super duper personal attacks where he's talking about mamas or kids or wives and stuff like that.
He told facts though. He said, "Yo,
Right.
you getting greased up by old girl. by
With no Vaseline.
With no Vaseline."
And he meant it in a
Direct
financial way,
Right.
that direct way that he meant.
He telling you, he pulling your coat, really saying,
Yeah,
"Man, you
did-
getting
I think Tupac was wrong, and I know this is unpopular, when he starts talking about people's wives and stuff
they
like
just
that.
had to go. It's like this. Okay, one dude might hit you in the chest growing up. Now you in another era where dude hit you in your eye, and it's a big difference. You see what I'm saying? So Ice Cube had already did, So now you got to come harder and harder. But it's a whole lot of our mind state is not right for no type of beefing with each other for real. We ain't no. Now when we pipe down. Then okay, give you can do a little battle rap on Wax.
So for me, two things that you can't control is how a person responds once you violate them, and how far they are willing to go in order to get their get back.
Facts.
So,
Facts.
like taking the Tupac situation, the man was shot. He was paranoid, and he wanted to get revenge on the whole world. Does that make it right? Nope. But he had a statement he was trying to make, and he made that statement. It's very strong, and that statement ended up, I believe, being one of the reasons why he ended up how he did.
Yeah, no
Look
doubt.
at Ether though. Ether, Nas and Jay-Z.
Jay and Nas. And Jay went after Nas's girl, talking about what he did.
The
and
baby
all
car
this other
seat.
right.
Yeah, you know.
And that could have went straight left, because that's we talking about California and New York, and you talking about New York and New York.
Yeah.
Right.
And that could, who knows how many people.
Yeah,
got
but they turned that up. They turned it up. They turned that all the way up to a whole nother level. I'm like, when you used to come over to the crib, I'm like, but dog, it took that to a whole nother level though. Pac took that to a whole nother level because I had just started listening to rap myself, and I was like, whoa. He's like, my fo, make sure y'all say, oh, that's kind of serious, bro. He might come up missing.
That's all the way serious.
You know. You know, you can talk about my peoples and what we can all of this and that, but you talking about my kids.
Yeah, come
you
on.
know, and they knew from that point on that I knew from that lyric that it wasn't gonna be no Tupac long.
Okay, who benefits from the beefs? Who benefits the most from the beef?
The record labels.
Ain't no question. So if we know that, why is we entertaining them at our expenses?
Because
that's the reason why J. Cole apologized.
That's what I'm saying.
Bagged up.
So that's why that man was not wrong, and a lot of people were saying he was wrong.
But the J. Cole has a sense of knowledge.
He woke.
Pac was trying to figure out how to get the money.
He's woke.
Yeah. Pac was still trying to figure out how to get his money. How you doing all this work and ain't no money coming in. J. Cole has become financially successful, so he's sitting from a different space. He's saying, "Look, I could choose to ride a bike or a Bentley, comfortably. I could retire literally right now." Pac is still trying to figure out how he gonna retire, so he's all adrenaline. All this, and then why, just using as a side note, the reason why Tupac was one of my favorites because of his journey. His mother was original Panther. You know, she was original 9. So to me, it's like all of that information and knowledge that went through his
DNA.
mama, and now this is the aftermath of that. I was anticipating and expecting a lot of great things. Now, a lot of great things did come. He's a very articulate person, very great artist.
Yeah, to me, the greatest.
But when it came down to switching up to the thug life stuff, you know, in the sense of when he went over to Death Row, it was like, where are we going? Because the ride just got different. Because, you know, in that era, in that feeling, you know, Suge Knight, you know what that is.
Yeah,
ain't no question about that.
He got bonded out by the devil, man. I feel like Pac, when he made that move, I was glad to see him out. And I love him, and I love his energy. You know what I'm saying? And I know he come for the right thing. You know what I'm saying? But he had the common sense. He just didn't never kick in. You know, there's no way I'm gonna leave. I'm laying in bed with a beautiful woman, and one of my homeboys come knock on the door and tell me, let's go over here and do this.
Ain't no women in jail.
Okay, I just get out of prison. I'm laying with a beautiful woman in the hotel, and you tell me to come over here and let's do this. And then I run over and knock somebody out on TV, 100 million cameras. I'm on bond. I kick somebody and stomp them and I'm just like, bro, you're not thinking.
But then maybe he had to go.
I think it was peer pressure.
No, I'm not talking about go as far as the physical aspect. I'm talking maybe he had to leave this earth simply because if you look at it, that's when people really started to realize how many people did this man influence. He was like a loose cannon because you couldn't control him. They couldn't control Pac.
And I mean, he was a staple in our music back then. You know,
especially
after post-mortem, the Machiavelli albums.
Yeah,
you could tell by the look in my eyes.
It's almost like he knew he was gonna die. Like the one song.
Like certain things. It's
How long were they mourning?
Yeah.
Come on,
you knew to go in the house or get whatever you need to get, depending on what song you heard rolling down the street. It was like it was the biblical type of thought process when it came to his music and
Right.
other people's type music. And so you understood it was the trunk time, or you better make sure you got it on you.
And you can hear
When
some
you got
politics in it,
college
though. He
on-
had
you got
political
college
in it, too.
You got college courses. You know, schools teaching college courses about his life, about
Right.
Pac, man. Come
Yeah,
on, man.
right, yeah.
So what they tell you? You know, they tell you he wasn't just no average person. You know,
Oh,
his
no,
mind
no,
wasn't-
we know that,
His, mind,
yeah.
his mental wasn't average.
Yeah,
you
he
know
was-
what I mean?
he's way
and
above
then back
average.
then you had X-Clan. You had
Public
poor
Enemy.
righteous teachers. You had Public Enemy.
You had your
The
boy,
Cool.
E40.
Yeah,
Disposable
40 still
heroes
got
of
40.
the
40 still
Constitution.
around.
Yeah.
You know, but 40 was on the street level. But I'm talking about far as that consciousness.
Yeah.
And I remember we had the red, black, and green beads and the X, the big X, you know, wooden X's, and you know what I'm saying, and all that, because it was all about, you know, like just like when James Brown era back in the 60s, where they say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
Yeah.
Teaching that pride, man.
But it goes back to the record company. The record company was more willing to sponsor gangster rap
Oh, for sure.
than socially conscious rap.
Come on now.
It's like let's start pushing them in this direction. Let's get some more of that gangster stuff. Tell us more stories about
Go
shootings
harder.
and death. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear all that Malcolm X stuff.
Now you can't be a studio gangster. You got to go catch a body. They got songs where people rapping to them.
Telling on
Everybody got a
themselves.
body. Everybody. He said
people-
everybody that's with
yeah,
him
people telling
got a
on
body.
themselves.
Everybody got a body. Now come on.
Yeah,
man.
they telling on themselves through their awesome, man. This
Lyrics,
is
right? And then they Facebook. I mean, through their social media and their lyrics. The police, they don't even got. That's why I think Flint got 2 police cars. They ain't even got to leave
They got all the,
downtown.
they got all the cops on Facebook.
No, yeah, they
Somebody
just sitting in front of
stole.
the computer.
Somebody stole a diamond.
Hey,
just get on Facebook and
Hey,
shoot.
Facebook gonna solve the case. They gonna solve the case in social media. They the greatest police. I'm serious, man. They get to talk.
Girl. My man just got me a brand new Louis Vuitton. Yeah, he robbed that liquor store. He got the money.
Told me
We
don't
snitching ourselves.
and be on social media texting back and forth to my told me don't tell nobody. But you know, we some beautiful people now. We just got to get it together. That's
We
all.
gotta get it
We
together.
gotta get
So,
it.
so going in the direction of J. Cole is something that we should embrace more so.
Facts. I mean,
Facts,
as far as my opinion, yes,
Yeah.
all completely.
completely. In my opinion as well.
Okay. And you know, I really when I was on social like YouTube and stuff like that, and I'm hearing some of the podcasters talking about, oh man, that's soft, man. He wrong for that. He shouldn't have did that. He already came out. He should come back again. We want to see a man.
Sometimes you gotta look at the source though. If somebody's saying that, they probably young and ignorant or ain't really been through nothing that gives them wisdom.
But
If they talking about let's ride this beef out and let's do all
yeah,
this,
but
that, and the other
that's what they
thing.
were saying. And the thing is, I'm not young enough, and I'm not sleep to where I can't see. Man, I admire you for that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it took more of that than it took more out of you to do that. More for J. Cole to do that than what it took for him to write that.
How about that?
You think Will Smith is ever going to apologize to Chris Rock?
I don't know. He got other issues. he worried about them tapes. He worried about
That's
getting
whole
power
different-
driven or
that's
something.
That's a whole different spectrum by itself too.
Yeah. I
My
ain't even- I
brothers,
ain't-
my
I
brothers,
can't
when
even-
can we get together?
I can't even talk about him.
So-
you know, he got other problems, man.
Yeah,
he
he-
got some serious stuff going
Yeah,
on.
he was pressured into that too.
Right.
It was, his off the
That's his
field
stage.
issues was in front of him. And, the way he was with old dude the night before he slapped Chris, and Jada had seen it. He had to stand up and do something different.
So, has anybody been seeing anything going over in the Middle East, such as in Israel with the Iron Dome?
Yeah, I've seen that too. I'm with the current affairs. With
Current
that.
affairs.
Yeah.
What's scary is the media portrayal of these issues. I don't believe most Americans are in favor of supporting Israel and doing what they did in Gaza. Israel basically went over there and started killing carte blanche, and we were paying for the bullets. We, the United States, who subsidize Israel with over $1 billion a year, pay for the bombs and the bullets, and we're supporting them. Now, I understand that Middle Eastern politics and diplomacy is complicated, this, that, and other thing, but most Americans were like, white, black, whatever, are like, no, this ain't right. But the media stopped covering it from that angle and start trying to find other angles to cover it from. I think that's the biggest problem. One of the biggest problems in America today is, I hate to say it, quote unquote,
Why
fake
you hate
news.
to say it?
Because I hate repeating something that somebody else said.
But that ain't the point. Is
Fake
it
news.
a fact?
We don't have the journalists or the media that we used to have. We always had ABC, CBS, NBC, but then you could always check out public news, public
That's where you
television
might get a
news,
little bit
or go to the BBC or Al
Get more
Jazeera
truth, yeah.
and get a different point of view. Today, we getting the flavor of the month news. If you're conservative, you watch Fox. If you're a Democrat or liberal, you watch CNN.
Right.
And you get the story the way you want to get it.
And MBS.
And it's not about truth
NBSC.
anymore.
MSNBC.
Yeah.
It's not about truth anymore. It's about advertising and placating the public and keeping people calm.
Puppet master.
They said when the Roman Empire began to fall, they started placating the people by giving them more games to watch, as
Bread
in the
and circus.
Coliseum,
Okay.
bread and circuses.
Right. Okay.
And I think that's what we got going on right here. This is a marker, one of those markers that a great nation is about to fall. When its infrastructure, its education, and its people are no longer educated.
Well-
There are other factors that go along with that too. It's when you have when God becomes a question instead of an issue, and when you lose your sense of religion or God, every culture, every empire throughout history, those are one of the factors. When your community becomes more androgynous, and when the woman population becomes more sexually liberated, those are three things that are continually historically seen in the collapse of all empires.
Huh?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So what else about so Mr. Brown, we was hearing what you were saying about what's going on in Israel and then everything that's going on as far as war, as far as Ukraine and Russia. What do you think, Mr. Combs?
My take on it is that what you see. I'm gonna move over to Ukraine. I see Ukraine doing what America did. See, history repeats itself. I think Ukraine is what you see how Putin went in on them. I think that's just exactly how America was discovered, was taken. A small country, a small, weak people that loved each other and had their own little thing going. Then a stronger country come in with armed weapons and take over and kill everybody and try to control them. And I think that's how that's how, not we as me being a part of what took place in history, but I think that's how America became what it is. And that's how history is. It's been taken over, conquering the weak.
I agree with you. I think colonialism just changes names.
Yeah.
It's colonialism today. It might be imperialism tomorrow. And then the next day they might call it capitalism or post-industrial whatever. The same thing is going on.
Yeah, you
They're
see history
draining money from one place.
repeating itself. History is repeating itself. Because, you say that there was life. You say that you got these guys come into America and there was a life full of Indians and people were civilization. There were.
How you discover that?
You can't discover
Well, you
something
something
when it's
that's already
already
happened.
existent. Exactly.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that you witnessing what the guys Putin is doing to Ukraine. You take America did the same thing.
But Ukraine used to be a part of Russia.
Why do you think
USSR.
Putin?
Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
do you think Putin released that the Black Christ, the Black Madonna material?
Yeah, the reason I think that they did that is simply this right here. This is only my opinion based upon my small portion of understanding. I think that he did that to say, like, he know that the U.S. is really backing Ukraine. He know that they financing them. Ukraine running the daddy to get some money out of his wallet to be able to fight the giant. Okay, so he probably, in my opinion, he probably said, okay, since you want to play them games, I'm gonna take what I've been had in these vaults, and what we all know and what we all have is these pictures of the real Jesus, the real black Jesus, and Moses and everybody else that was all black, and these black people. And in matter of fact, he told his country, in his speech, he said, look, we've been misled, we've been lying. Jesus was black. Here's a picture of him. pulled it up, say I'm finna show you the real Jesus, and you know we've been treating black people are really the chosen ones, but I think he really did. You know, it's not that he was just so good because he'd been a president for many years before this war even broke out, and he could have been did it. He could have been released it. So I think that he did it to say to the U.S., okay, you got your people over there hoodwink, you got them thinking that they ain't nothing. You've been dogging them and all this, that, and third, and they the real Israel. They the real Israel.
Children of Israel.
Children of Israel. They, you know, they are them. That's them, the black people. You know, the black people that you see on this planet. You know what I mean? And so he said, I'm gonna do that, and hopefully you can stir up something and create some problems at your house. It's kind of like somebody. It's kind of like you financing your partner's situation. If he battling, even if he got a beef with somebody, if you behind the scene giving your partner bullets. Say, okay, go handle your business. Go handle your business. Then somebody say, okay, I can't get to you who you handle these bullets out. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tell your wife you over here sleeping with this other lady.
It's like,
you don't,
Tyrone, stop cheating on your wife.
Yeah.
You know your daddy ain't your daddy.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm gonna create some turbulence at your crib. You understand me? Because I ain't got time. I don't really want to mess with you right now because I'm too busy dealing with this over here. So that was my opinion.
What scares me is, back during the Cold War, we had a fear of nuclear weapons and nuclear proliferation, and we had a fear that somebody might do something crazy. With the leadership that we've been choosing lately, Putin seems like a villain out of a Bond movie.
Well, it used to
Trump
be the head of KGB.
seems like something out of a comedy. But we got these strange leaders coming to power after the Cold War is over, and they have control over these weapons. Technically, the United States is an oligarchy. Technically,
Tell them what an
China.
oligarchy
I'm
is.
gonna get to
Okay.
it. China is an oligarchy. Soviet Union is an oligarchy. Most of the first world, quote unquote, is an oligarchy. What is an oligarchy?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Big bank take
Little bank.
You got people that made money under communism in China, under communism in the Soviet Union. And when it came time for things to get redistributed, they were the warlords that stepped up and took positions and took power over X, Y, and Z. You got
How
to
is
say
that any different from capitalism? That sounds like capitalism.
it is capitalism.
So what's the difference? Tell us the difference between that.
Under the old system of capitalism, quote unquote, capitalism was supposed to make everything fair. And if you got a better product than me, then you're going to sell more product than me. If you got a better price or a better business plan, things happen like that.
Okay.
Under an oligarchy, you can control certain factors where you can just push competition out of the way. You want to do what on my block? I am the only person selling shoes on this block. With an oligarchy, you can say, I'm the only person selling shoes in this whole state. Now defy me and I'll send my soldiers over there, or we'll take care of this. And Putin's my best buddy. What you gonna do about it? It's more important nowadays about who you know and whose family you belong to. Like in America, you got the the Koch family, and you got the Waltons, and you got certain other families that control massive amounts of resources.
Wealth, yeah.
And you got the same thing happening in other countries, in China and whatnot. I actually believe that right now we are in an economic war with China. We want to build cars, but for some reason China can't produce the chips anymore. Or they're slow to produce the chips. There's a lot of weird things going on, and the public isn't being made savvy or made known to what exactly is really going on. We might find out 5 or 10 years down the road that this really happened or something else really happened. And I blame, again, the media, and I blame ourselves for being lazy enough.
Yeah, we got rid of our manufacturing base. I mean, that's on us.
Well,
Well, actually, it's on them because
Yeah,
they the
I'm
one.
saying.
They
we
the
saw
one in
NAFTA
position.
coming.
Huh?
Bill Clinton.
Come on,
created-
NAFTA. That was the most terrible. That was sold out.
People,
We sold our
I'm
country.
like, wait a minute. Why are we trying to sell these jobs away? And
You
get
see
rid
what
of our
Trump did
jobs?
when he first went in, right?
I know he dropped the price of gas. I'm gonna give him
I mean,
that.
I ain't, and I'm not advocating for him, but I'm
No,
talking
but he
about-
taxed
that
over him.
NAFTA NAFTA joint. He cut that. He said, "No, we ain't doing that no more." He said, matter of fact, if y'all gonna make something out of this country, you gonna call yourself outsourcing your jobs? Okay, well, I'm gonna charge a heck of a tariff for you to bring your property back, bring your goods back in.
That's why China's upset.
That's why China got. That's why
And
we
China,
got COVID.
because they've been sending stuff over here and not even buying our stuff. So then Trump said, okay, if you're going to send it over there and you ain't accepting our, we can't send out that much of our
Creating
stuff
a
back to
trade
y'all.
deficit.
Exactly. And that trade deficit been going on since under certain administrations, been going on for a long time.
Right.
And Trump came and disrupted that. But see, people don't talk about that type of stuff. They
don't talk about the amount of money the United States owes China right now.
Yeah, I know that. And I'm gonna tell you something else. A lot of times when it comes to us, and it comes to politics, see, before you even indulge in politics, you should at least know something. Just do a little study and just listen to the people, because they're gonna tell you what's happening. Now, in my opinion, how is it that when you man, I'm lost my train of thought. Excuse me, but that's crazy because but I'm just saying you need to know something when it comes to politics, because we deal in feelings. Black people deal in feelings.
Right.
So I don't like the way he talked. I don't like his voice. I don't like what he said about. Come on, man. But how is you living? Is gas prices $9 a gallon, or is it, you know what I'm saying, or is it something you ain't even paying attention to because it ain't that high?
We're doing it's political prestidigitation. They show you one thing that they want you to see, while they doing something else behind
Smoke
the scenes.
screen, yeah.
Yeah, smoke and mirrors.
Smoke screen.
Smoke screens, false flags, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's more important to them that they get the resource. Just like Soviet Union and United States used to fight over Africa. We'll sponsor the this side, you sponsor that side, and these two people fighting each other, whether it be in Africa or South America. Guess who's in Africa now?
China.
Oh yeah.
China is in Africa taking all them resources.
Because they got too
and
much.
the Soviet Union's like, man, we should still be there. America's like, man, all that yellow cake and that gold and that platinum.
That's what I'm saying about America, is that on the race level alone, how willing they is to give a whole other country opportunity before they give us respirations of what for building this country. I mean, they won't give us anything for what the work we put in on this country.
They ain't acknowledging it.
You know, they want it, but you go over here and cut a deal with a whole different country and give them guns, and then turn around 6 months later and be fighting them.
Is it more about the country though, or about the money?
That they giving Ukrainians SSI checks now.
And then you said my little cousin Tay he can't even get it. You know, and he qualified more than anybody.
Hold on. The people of Flint got poisoned.
Come on, man. They ain't got $1 yet.
And they got $1 yet.
Somebody else said Flint is a sanctuary city due to our current administration. That's why we have a lot of immigrants here.
Oh, what is it? Because I've been waiting to see something at Home Depot.
Let's be realistic here. A lot of people say, get rid of the immigrants or hate immigrants, just that other thing. I want to see somebody willing to pay.
You ain't got no job, you're an immigrant.
Well, I want to see somebody willing to pay $10 for grapes.
Well, see, they know they'll work. You know, they
are you
get them over here.
Are you going to pay $10 for grapes? Are you going to pay $10 for tomatoes? You get rid of the immigrant population in this country, a lot of work that gets done won't get done, and prices are going to shoot up left, right, and sideways. You want to talk about inflation. You start paying people minimum wage to pick tomatoes, you're going to see inflation go crazy. So we need that immigrant population. I don't care if you're conservative or liberal, everybody likes to eat grapes and strawberries and likes the way they go shopping and get a good deal at Kroger.
And I feel what you're saying, and I agree with we need a working class population, but why can't we make it in-house? What's wrong with reteaching ourselves how to work, how to go out there and get stuff done?
Do you want to go out and work? Well, hold on. Do you want to go out and work in the fields and pick grapes?
It's not about what I want. It's about the long haul. So if we continue to import folks that we say we don't want in here, then those folks are going to end up being the people that replace us.
And that put us so far back. They ain't doing it, moving us further and further back.
That's part of the hypocrisy of America. They say they don't like immigrants, and they sat there and stole us and brought us here.
But all of us are stolen. Most of us are from here. We are of this land. We are being. That's why they didn't change our names.
We're descendants
times from Negro to black to color to African American. African American separates you from the land completely. But Negro, that you're still attached to the land. Color, you're still attached to the land. You know, black, you're still attached to the land. But in order to take the folks, the native, not Aboriginal, because Aboriginal is a negative term, but to take the people that are indigenous to the land away, you have to label them something so they don't even understand that this is your spot. I just came here and ran it. And then we got a couple people from Nigeria and over there in other countries to kind of offset some things that get this story some kind of way. Because what we are starting to understand, those that choose to understand it, is that every last thing is a lie. Everything. So above is below. So below is above.
It's
everything is a lie. Everything is twisted up.
Cave.
Everything that we've been taught is a lie. Everything.
There is no Santa Claus.
Everything.
No Easter Bunny. No,
everything.
No trickle down economics.
There's 13 months in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
And that's the whole situation. We caught up like we are that Christmas. You know, we draw up on these false holidays. We go spend our money. We spend our money on Christmas.
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you. I got cussed out by a good Christian woman when I told her that the Christmas tree is more pagan than Christian. Don't mess with the Christmas tree. That's She just went off on me, and we are so confused about the stuff that we do. Those eggs that we do for Easter.
Hold on, go back to the Christmas tree. Go back to the Christmas tree. When she said that, tell us what. Tell the listeners.
I told her to go ask your preacher.
No. What's wrong with the Christmas tree? What you say it's more pagan? So break it down for the listeners, for those who may not be familiar with.
Well, I'm not a preacher or anything like that.
Right.
But according to the Bible, Jesus was probably born sometime around September, when the sheep were still out in the fields and whatever. There's a passage that somebody else can quote better than me.
Right.
Christianity adhered itself to what was available. And the biggest holiday for most people back then was the winter solstice. That's the shortest day of the year. And what they mean by shortest day? The least amount of sunlight. That's when the earth is tilted in such a way that we have very short amount of daylight at that time of year. People used to celebrate that and celebrate the return of the sun, because all of a sudden you get a few more seconds of sunlight, a few more minutes of sunlight every day. So that was the holiday that was based at the end of the year, or based in December, was that solstice holiday. People in parts of Germany and other places like that used to bring in trees for fear that those trees would freeze to death, or that the spirit of whatever would happen. I'm not explaining it perfectly correctly, but when you start looking at pagan holidays and pagan traditions, when you start looking at how Christianity just kind of like, we'll let them keep the Christmas trees. We'll let them keep the eggs. We'll let them keep this, that, and the other thing. That was part of what Christianity did in order to spread itself. You just can't come in and say, this is the new religion. You got to allow the indigenous people to have some kind of say or some kind of word to say, well, he's comparable to this, or Jesus comparable to Odin, or whatever religion that they're celebrating. So you amalgamate it.
As far as my understanding of it, you got to go back to 330 A.D. During the Constantinople era. So in the Council of Nicaea. So the Council of Nicaea was the group that was put together in order to vote that Yahshua was a deity.
And also vote on what went into the Bible.
And vote the canonized version of the Bible. So you have those things that were put into place during the Constantinople era. So because Constantine and the Constantinople era were doing things based on politics and religion, that's when you get all these meshed concepts, because with how the days of the week, those are all pagan constructs. So Monday, Sunday,
Thor's Day, Wednesday, Odin's Day.
It's all constructs.
Saturn
and
is
then
Saturday.
That's when the calendar started changing.
Most of our days come from
Gregorian and all this other stuff. That and a lot of the stuff was stamped and sealed under the Constantinople era, and the Council of Nicaea when it comes to the religious part of it.
Constantine.
What we know now. That being said, we're at the 59-minute mark, so we got about 15 minutes left.
Okay.
And we spoke on code switching, we spoke on OJ, we spoke on hip hop battles, we spoke on the Middle East, we spoke on Black Jesus. We have not spoke on the court system. the church court system, the similarities between church and court, and then we're going to end it out talking about the Flint water crisis and where we stand on that.
Okay, sounds good. Brother Calvin, come on.
Yeah.
Speaking on some of these
We have some comments.
got a lot of them.
Oh, we do? Okay, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I'm glad they joined us.
Yeah, we like I grew up as a Christian, still a Christian today. And
Hold on, how did you get baptized?
I got baptized. My auntie
which was my mama, by the way.
took me to church and got my life together. Got Christ in my life early, and as I grew older, as I became a Christian, I moved through life and run into troubles and run into the system, and when you do wrong, you always result back to your positive way of living. So, and when I was being sentenced to an institution for the wrong I have done, I found myself in the courtroom in a fixture of church. I looked to the left, there were seats full of jurors that were used to be seats when I grew up in church. They were full of choir people that were singing. When I looked over to the right, there was deacons, but they were security guards, polices, sheriffs.
Okay.
There were no ushers. And as I looked to the pulpit, there was a judge. It wasn't a minister. But before him, before God, I would kneel and beg and plead as I would to God, as my Father, as I would to your honor. And ask him for forgiveness as if I'm actually speaking to my Father, which is God, to give me a deal on sentencing me to prison. Because if God forgive me, I know you somewhere, I figure I can get some forgiveness from this guy that's called the judge.
He was a minister, though. He administered that time.
And he administered time to me, and he gave it to me at Judgment Day. That was my Judgment Day, and I was sentenced. And I bagged away when I got to where I was going, and I had a long talk. When you get tied up, you have a lot of time to think. And that's what I came up with, is that they have designed something that's supposed to work for me that doesn't work for me. And the guy that I pray for and kneel to wouldn't have done this to me. And you don't look like him. You don't look like the man that I pray to. But yet I'm looking in front of you and almost kneeling for forgiveness and for a deal on what you're going to send me to prison. So that's why I say that the church, the only thing missing is the the American flag in the back of the judge. And those reindeers that sits up, that big badge.
The seal of Michigan.
Yellow, yes. And you see that in the back, and then all these things become non-spiritual because you wonder who you pray to if all of this is simulated to God. And it's called a correctional system, a system of justice, and you wonder it's just for who? Because when I looked over to my left, it was people that looked like me that was getting sentenced next. And when I looked over to my right, it was the people that looked like the judge that was chaining us up. Now you tell me who's the Father and who's the God. What do I believe in and where do I go from here? So
13th Amendment.
So me coming from where I come from, being raised and taught about Christian life by my Aunt B, and I symbolized this, and I found out when I got to where I was going that the change had to come within me. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't allow this man to dictate where I'm going. This man on earth, they call the judge, that's dressed up like a minister in the same robe.
I remember when you came home, Mama was like, Calvin out, you seen Calvin? I said, I ain't seen him yet. She was like, yeah, he done changed. He ain't the same Calvin. He don't, and man, I tell you,
changed my life.
You actually helped me because, and when I say that, because you was a shining example of what had to take place.
Right.
Which is change.
Right.
And that's one of the things that, a lot of us struggle with, especially when you come back to the same environment, but you like, hold up, man, I got to change because if I keep doing the same thing, I'm going the same way. They ain't closing them prisons down. If it is going to close it down, they're going to open up another bigger one, more bigger, more grander.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So when I seen Cuz start working, he came home, he went to working. His friends, his partners, they wasn't they you know, he wasn't running with them no more. You know what I'm saying? His circle turned into a period.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yep, I can attest
We
to
were
that.
going different ways. Sometimes you can buy 500 pair. You rich and you wear 600. You own 600 pair of shoes, but you don't know. You can't take a step in the right direction. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of something that we got to be clarified on. The Emancipation Proclamation did not end slavery.
No,
It said slavery does not
Except for the
is
13.
ended inside places that we don't control. Abraham Lincoln wrote that, and it's kind of like us telling the Russians, "You got to start giving away free ice cream." The Russians are going to look at us like we're crazy, and that's what the South did. It's like, how can this guy who's not the president of the South tell us what to do anymore? Because we're separated. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment do not end slavery.
Sure don't.
There is a caveat that says you cannot enslave a person unless they have
Committed a crime.
committed a crime.
Yeah.
Now, when we start looking at our legal system and start looking at how it impacts us versus others, you see a continuation of a pattern. And this is what I'm talking about looking at the big picture. Did slavery really end, or did they adjust slavery and change it?
It was
And
adjusted.
what I tell my children is, don't put yourself, or try to avoid putting yourself, because sometimes it's impossible. Do not put yourself in a situation where the man can dictate how you move and where you move. There are already enough rules on us that do that. Don't make it worse, and don't do silly stuff. I got a parking ticket the other day. You want to know what I one did? I went and paid that thing immediately, because that's how sometimes brothers get hemmed up. Old parking tickets sending you to jail. Something you didn't take care of in your past. You got brothers out there working on, what do you call it? When you get a felony and you get a
Expungement.
Expungement. You
Being
got brothers working
exonerated.
on that. But you got people out there running the streets knowing they got a warrant they can take care of. Knowing they behind on the payment for X, Y, and Z. Knowing they got a ticket that will send them to jail depending on the mood of that officer. And I do not want Sheriff Lobo dictating my future. So I try and advise my kids, take care of stuff. But kids sometimes, some of them,
They hard.
one child got to touch the stove.
When they lock you up, but if you really look at the pattern or the way it go far as the penal system, generally they take you at your most fertile years. You know what I mean? When you're young and you can mass produce these little black children, they take you. And then you go in as a youngster, young man, whatever, you come out an old man. Now you ain't no threat in no type of way. You ain't, your reproductive
Exactly.
system ain't what it was. It ain't as fertile as it was, because they've been feeding you all the type of stuff that's gonna make sure that your count is down. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. But it's just, and we have to see things for what it is, and it's cool. Traps gonna be set, but it's up to us to be able to identify the traps and then step around.
That's exactly right. We was forewarned in an early age. My grandmother and them, they from Mississippi, and I was scorned and told about this system, the penal system, before I got exposed to it, because they was used to the system in Mississippi they didn't honor the white man. German shepherds was sick on them, and they was put in a place in color and white spots. So they said to me when they disciplined me, they said, "I'm gonna whoop you for them folks won't have to whoop you and put you in them jails, because my child gonna be obedient." And see, I didn't understand that, so I rebelled that situation. Said, "But just keep living, baby. It's gonna land in your lap if you keep running down this road they call Rome." You hear me?
Yeah,
And-
yes.
And those are the that's what you call when you get to where you're going to, and you get to where place in court, because prison is an isolated situation in jail, and you find yourself back when you was put in the corner, and you have to learn from it.
Yeah.
That's where the rehabilitation
They say
starts.
man finds himself best in his worst condition.
Exactly.
So, we're going to move on to the Flint water crisis, then we're going to read these comments.
Okay.
So we can answer some of them.
Okay.
So, I know you had some strong viewpoints and thoughts on the water crisis, on different things like why people didn't respond in an aggressive way.
No, that was Brother Brown. I mean, Mr. Brown.
Well,
you was why people didn't respond in a certain way.
Why there weren't any protests when
and you had certain.
Yes.
So we're gonna start.
people were exonerated.
Let's start out with you.
Because I feel like when you're in a fight, if someone punch you in the eye, you punch them back. If someone take from you, you'll do something. You'll stand for something or fall for anything. When someone's giving you something that you refuse to, that you don't want, and that you're being charged for, and it's poisoning your children, when do we fight back? Because if you break in my house, and you come to my house and crawl through my window, I'll defend myself and I attack the burglar. If you come in my yard and take my water hose and steal my water, I'll defend my yard. But you force something on me through my system, through my water system, through my bathtub, that my child is being forced to drink or eat, and then you charge me for it. And I have nothing to say about it. No, when you pass a lick, I'm passing one back.
There's a pattern. They gave Native Americans fire water and dirty blankets, pox-ridden blankets.
Smallpox in them.
Yeah, and what are they doing to us? They're giving us lead water. And they got gentrification coming. Whatever happens, guess who winds up with the land?
It ain't us.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is that anytime this has led to that we have more liquor stores open than we have churches, and we have more liquor stores open than we have schools, elementary schools. And Tupac said years ago, the truth is, if there ain't no future for the youth, then it ain't no future. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to teach the young, then how are we supposed to grow? You know what I'm saying? When you ride down Detroit Street and you see Roy Wilkins, you see these Jefferson School, but Trent Tucker, these basketball greats. You know, this city has produced legends. You know what I'm saying? What can we do? You know what I'm saying? It's not okay to ride past Northwestern and see it closed. It's not okay to ride past Northern to see that it's closed. You know, it's not okay to ride past.
But you done had a mass
education opens up a whole can of worms.
But I'm saying to you is that the people of the community, we got to stand for something, man, or we'll fall for anything. I mean, because a liquor's already been passed.
Go down there and protest? Why don't you think people went down when they said we dropping the charges? Why didn't people in Flint protest or go down there?
Because they didn't have a leader.
People did go protest, but it just wasn't in the numbers.
Strength is in numbers. Strength is in numbers. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get America's attention,
it's been a mass exodus of our residents. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you opened up Northwestern, if you opened up Northern, if you opened up Roy, ain't enough people to go to them. There ain't enough kids around here to go to them. All the kids been shot to Grand Blanc.
Only 3,000 kids left in the Flint school district.
You see 3,000. You know
they been bust to Grand Blanc.
They go to Carmen. And everybody they get new stadiums. They get these big grand because of the kids. They excelling in the sports, and so therefore a lot of money is being dumped into those communities. You know what I mean? When it's supposed to be right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
But you still got the people here stuck in a situation that are going to and from work and trying to pay the water bill. You know what I'm saying? It's not right for me to go. I mean, it's just like I'm going to the liquor store every day, right at my faucet. You know what I'm saying? And it says harmful as swallow. Why isn't that attached to my sink? You know what I'm saying? Because it's definitely harmful as swallow.
So at this point, 10 years. This is the 10th-year anniversary of that crisis, that disaster, that murder. What is your suggestion that we do?
My suggestion is we stand on numbers of strength. I suggest that unfortunately, I believe I'm a very radical individual. I believed in fighting the power and fighting the structure, and I feel like if you break out a window or two, if you turn over a car or two, you know, if you do something that grabs America's attention. It seems like when we acting a fool and burning cars and turning over things, it seems like the government pays attention to us. It's been our history.
See, I feel like, and I understand where you come from, but the way I see it, I feel like that's what they want. You know what I mean? To give them, to gun you down, right? But you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, but the best thing that we can do, man, the best thing we can do is get ourselves together, man. I mean, for real.
Get ourselves
like I always say, start with self-respect. That's and then start respecting the people that look just like you. But, I say start there.
We're talking about 10 years of being disrespected by not even getting any kind of compensation or
justice
for
at all.
Being poisoned. The water at that time, at the height of it, was 10 times worse than toxic waste.
Yeah.
So think of a movie, The
Right.
Toxic Monster.
Yeah.
The toxic monster coming out the river and all. That's a scary monster. 10 times worse than that.
I got
And people sitting in office getting paid $100,000 a year to be your mayor, to be a city councilman. These people's other than
No, they had
Mr. Mays.
at that time they had
Here's a dirty question.
What they had the people coming in from Lansing that was actually running the city. What was it called? You know when they
Obama came here, didn't he? Didn't he? Obama?
no. I'm talking about. It was like the city, like they said, the city is in the
Oversight.
oversight. That's what I'm talking about.
They put
From Lansing.
They put a manager and an administrator
Yeah.
in. Snyder did that.
They call all
But
the shots here.
Here's a dirty question. Lead is poisonous. It affects the brain. It makes people more violent. It drops intelligence levels.
Facts.
X, Y, and Z. Where are the studies and the reports that are supposed
For
to
the
be given
children.
to us?
From the 10 years later. With them kids.
Every year they're supposed to be doing studies. Let's see. Has violence in the schools increased because of this? Has violence in the streets increased because of this?
Yes, indeed.
Can we blame some of the people that are sitting inside the hooscow right now? Can we blame some of that on the lead? There are some complicated questions, and nobody's following up with this medical research that's supposed to be done right now. There's the Flint registry, but they're not giving reports out on how people are suffering or how this has changed and impacted Flint, which is scaring the daylights out of me that they're not sharing this information. Somebody has this data.
Yeah, right there in
The
Capitol on
police
Grand River.
know if the numbers have increased. The school district's supposed to know if the numbers have increased for violence or whatever. Where is it? And who should we be asking for it?
Well, I don't believe that any of the information is being hidden. It's just we don't have
Enough people inquiring about it.
It's not being circulated to where it's common knowledge.
Right.
To where everybody understands where to go, how to get.
I've asked board members. I've asked politicians. Nobody has an answer.
So have you been down to City Hall to the front desk and asked them, or called the 411? So those
Last time I went to go see Neely, he tried to have me arrested.
So we're not gonna make this political,
Right. We ain't gonna blame. We talking about what can be done. Where can you go
I'm saying
to get this information?
So I would say go down to City Hall, and ask the front desk, where can you find this information? If they don't have that information, then there is a problem.
They're gonna send you to the ombudsman that doesn't exist.
What about
But
Lansing?
then that's where you make your recorded or your paper trail stating that you don't
The
have
health
information.
department's supposed to be collecting this data. The school district is supposed to be collecting some of this data.
Well,
And when you ask the school board, they don't know. And when you go to the health department, they look at you like you're crazy.
well, you should go again. So
Document some names or something.
yeah, so you can state it next time on the show on what you did, what you tried, what you learned,
Right.
what didn't work, what worked. Because
I'm gonna leave that for you. I'm gonna leave that for you Flint guys to follow up on.
Oh, you ain't gonna play Flint. You living around here. You up on this podcast. You can go on down there.
I've already made my inquiries and got myself
Why
in
you
trouble.
over there drinking that bottled water?
Look, you
I
can't-
got myself in trouble. They already doubled my taxes.
You can't come
That's
without
okay.
reason.
No, you can't
You
say.
can't come
you
to Flint,
yeah.
then sit in Flint,
Then,
and
then say
it's
you
on
from
us.
Flint. No, you here now?
Flint here.
You here?
Yeah.
You here?
You ain't in Lansing, you ain't in
You-
Detroit,
you
you in
thank you.
Flint.
Yeah, this is where you at.
You by double
Where?
Flint, man.
Yeah, you put your
Where
roots
they
in.
will not allow me a homestead.
Well, look.
Well, don't, but you can figure that one out too. We can get behind you on that.
I
You
mean,
find out
look,
that
you
information.
have a whole.
This town is more about who you know.
Hold up.
Then
Pause,
what you know.
Pause. You have a whole new opportunity with a whole new group of people that don't know you, that are possibly willing to help you get where you need to go. We got over 20,000 people that potentially will watch this, and
I'm telling
and
them
I'm
right
saying,
now, this town is more about who you know than what you know. If you got friends that are Monts, if you got friends that are related to who's ever in office, you could possibly get things done. But even if you know the truth and you know the law, they say forget the truth, forget the law. We gonna do what we want.
and I understand what you're saying, but also it don't. For me,
Obviously, somebody don't know somebody. I mean, it's been 10 years with the same water, brother. I mean, there hasn't been. There hasn't been
This stuff,
a physical
You know what?
argument. Nothing. No
Maybe the
furniture's been
media
moving.
is supposed to
Nothing.
be doing this. Maybe the media is supposed to be sharing this information, but they don't share the information that we really need. They share some stuff that'll distract us. Kind of like how you said.
well, right now we are the media. So right now we are sharing this information. So right
Sharing
now
this stuff.
Well, I'm sharing that there's a need for
Thank you.
an audit to be done on the research. Where is that research? Who is following up that research? Are they even doing it? Because it might quite possibly be they said, oh, they poison, forget them. We're not going to study, we're not going to track them, we're not going to see what's happening. And that is what's scaring me, that the school district might not be collecting the data they're supposed to be collecting. And with as many superintendents that y'all have gone through, that might have fallen as one of the responsibilities.
And let me state this. I'm not trying to take away from your trauma and what you've dealt with. All I'm saying is that we have to take the opportunities that we have and try to make those work, because we only got what we got. And the ignorance that we have does not make up for the information that's out there. We have to figure out how to take this ignorance and turn it into
I tried making an inquiry of Kildee in Kildee's office, and I got to run around. So I don't know. If you can't talk to your council people about it, and they don't know, if you can't talk to your representatives about it, they don't know. I don't know where.
I think they need to find find the organization itself and put a name on it and get some people in order and get an organization together and get a bus or find a van or something to load 50 to 60 people up to follow. Let's go to Lansing and talk about it. I mean, we got to go with, we can't take care of this. Been at this level, you can't get it done. Why not go to the capital of Michigan? It's Lansing. It's only 60 minutes away. You know what I'm saying? The fight has got to start somewhere. Obviously, it's 10 zip. You know what I'm saying? It's 10 zip.
In the fourth quarter.
You understand what I'm saying, sir?
Right.
It's 10 years you've been drinking this water. And I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know what I mean? Tupac said we can knock on the door, we don't get no attention. We can beat on the door, we won't get no, but if we kick it in, now you won't talk to me.
Right. So there is going to be a 10-year anniversary commemoration.
You nailed down, Benicia.
Yeah. And I'm gonna try to get T-Cell's already interviewed Miss Claire. I'm gonna try to get her to come on. Claire McClinton. She's a water warrior. She's a person that's been consistently. She can answer a lot of the questions
that we have.
Right. We might need to get her up here.
Have you rolled past the Flint water tower?
Say Flint strong, right?
Hello. Do we have a choice? How strong are we? Are we strong enough?
Got some strong water.
Yeah.
Fire water, land
You got to be some strong brothers to keep drinking this water and not fight about it.
Is it a felony to use a water gun in Flint? I mean, you spraying lead.
Yeah.
You silly, man.
Yeah. I mean.
Somebody be mad. Somebody be mad about that.
You finally got me to laugh.
No, I'm just saying. And I ride past it and say, Flint strong. I'm saying, wow.
Strong to drink this.
Oh, this weight they lifting is the lead. I'm sorry.
Pig iron. Babies got muscles. You know what I'm talking about?
They leave early and then they come to the streets. What's going on?
Man.
So now I'm about to read some of these comments.
Okay, yeah, let's get to the comments.
Let's talk to the public here. We got
hour 20.
Yeah,
that's
a good one.
So we got a lot of comments, so we can go up here. So prison has legalized slavery.
Flat out.
I remember when my paperwork said United States versus Terrence O'Seals, I was like, what the?
Little old me?
I do to piss off the whole country.
The whole, it's all capital letters.
The Navy, the Army,
everybody.
Air Force, Marine, everybody against you.
Yeah.
How you gonna win, brother?
Yeah, and so
that's right, T-Cells.
Say
I know the feeling.
The U.S. SEAL, a bad MF bop. Let's see here. Initially, spirituality was based on the just scale. Ironically, the court system uses the so-called scale of justice.
Blindfold, she peeking through.
That's Mayat. So that's where we get our angels
42
from also.
declarations of Mayat.
42 negative confessions.
Yeah.
But that's where we get our concept of an angel from.
That's where they got the 10 Commandments derived came from that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thou shalt not eavesdrop. That's one of them.
Thou shalt not intentionally make people cry.
Thou shalt not defile another man's wife.
Say in young, out old, wore out.
Flat out. Come out, go in there, join the baby, come out an old man for real.
Mm-hmm.
They make old men. That's what I said. I said
I
the
think
federal
this
government.
thing
They
is
don't
part of a
make old men.
gentrification thing. Just like you had a disaster down in Louisiana. That town went from 80% black down to 30%. Nice controllable numbers for them. They gentrified New Orleans real quick, and I think that's coming this way too. Pretty soon there'll be a coffee shop on every corner, and
If you see that bike lane, you know it's on.
and a tanning salon. Well, I actually want to get bike lanes here. That's healthy, and that's something that's going.
You rode any bike on it?
I think
there is not one here.
Ain't nobody seeing you on no bike. It is a bike lane right down there.
So what are the viewers saying?
I lived in Lansing, and I got a 3-wheel bike.
Okay.
And I got me a recumbent bike, so I'm a bike rider.
So going back to it, another one's Rose X Moore said school to prison pipeline develops around 3rd grade, and then it said Willie Lynch syndrome is T cells. Melissa Zabarski, I got a son, FOIA back, and I got my son's FOIA back, and it doesn't match up, especially with my ring cam. So I know Flint police isn't being truthful.
The police lie?
FOIA. So I get her son's FOIA.
Police lie?
What happened?
Do police lie?
Come on.
I thought they were only allowed to do that on Saturdays.
Adversity.
No, if Jay Hoover tell a lie, the rest of them do what they do.
And so
He was dancing with the
say
stars.
police lie all the time. That part. Depopulation agenda.
Yeah, they did that. Flint don't look nothing like they used to.
Killing off a whole generation with lead.
There's a street in Detroit called Grand River. Runs all the way through the state of Michigan. And when they started depopulating Detroit, you could not cross Grand River. But when you were walking with one of them streets, you had to duck and dodge. Now you can walk back and forth across the street all the time. And I reckon that Saginaw used to be that busy.
Avenue A.
And I reckon there were a whole bunch of other streets that used to be that busy. You guys have the infrastructure problem that you guys have. You have a smaller population.
Hold on, why you keep saying you guys when you live here?
Right.
Yes,
Don't try to disconnect yourself now.
I'm not allowed to get citizenship here because they
Come
won't
on,
let.
citizen, you got it. Say, do your license say Michigan?
It's not
Okay,
like-
Flint.
I
bet
am
you got
not
Flint
allowed
on
to
there.
get a homestead here because of your city assessor, who I've tried to file a complaint against.
You say mine. Hold on.
Because it's just city of
hold on,
Flint.
no,
Y'all elected these people. I can't even get up.
Oh, y'all.
You
wow.
can vote it. Look at him.
Wow.
He declassified
Who you
himself.
with, Purple Rain?
Hey,
Hey, you guys. Hey, you. No, you here. You right here
I'm
in
here,
Flint.
and I'm trying to do stuff.
Right. Well, why
But-
you can't do it when you talking about y'all? When you talking about it's who you know.
I,
And
you
say
know what?
y'all.
I was
you
trying to
separate
do
yourself.
more, and I've stepped back because I literally got left in the middle of the street and can't even file a report about it. I got knocked out at McLaren Hospital, and they left me in the middle of
Who knocked
Ballinger.
you out? Damn. Hold on.
Who knocked you out?
Orderly.
An orderly. You let an
A
orderly
caregiver knock you out?
And I'm sitting in a wheelchair,
Oh, this.
And he snatched
the
the wheelchair
took
from
it back in.
under me.
Took it back in.
and I wound up with a concussion.
No, I ain't
And
laughing
left-
at you. I take that back. I'm not laughing at you, brother. Hold up.
Oh,
you
it's
snatched the
hilarious.
wheelchair and took
I
it
saw
back
the
in the
video.
hospital.
No.
Oh, is
no,
it a video?
Yeah, I got
Let me
video
see.
of it.
Pull that up, man. I gotta see that.
I ain't got it online because at first I walk up. VA,
I know that all the viewers want to see.
the VA sent me there. They said go immediately to the emergency room. I go to the emergency room. I don't even make it inside the door when a dog attacks me.
Jeffrey
Now,
Damn,
I
a dog. Hold on.
Sound
dog,
like Jeffrey Fighter need to see it, huh?
Hold on. He said,
No, I
dog
called Figer.
attacked him.
Figer said if I wasn't a black man of my
Say
size,
too much, man.
seriously, I called Figer because I tried to call a lawyer in this town. There aren't that many left, and most of them are already on retainer to McLaren, so they can't do anything. for
Hold
me.
on. So you say you went inside McLaren. They sicked the dog on you inside the hospital.
I'm walking inside the door. The dog jumps up, knocks me down. Jumps up from behind me and knocks me down.
The dog?
You got a dog knock you?
It was a security dog.
Was you picketing?
I'm walking in there because I'm sick.
Mm-hmm.
The VA told me go to the emergency room immediately because there was some major stuff going on with me.
Psychotically or what?
I'm talking on the phone to my brother, and I'm carrying my laptop in my other hand. Dog comes up, knocks me down.
Okay.
They throw me on a gurney and take me in the back, and then the same security guard who's supposed to be watching this dog is sitting there for half an hour not doing anything but me mugging me. When I try and get discharged, you got to have paperwork in order for the VA to pay for it. They refuse to give me any paperwork. I'm like, I need some paperwork to show that I was here Pop, and what I'm supposed to do when I go see my primary doctor.
Right.
I'm sitting there arguing with him about that. This guy yanks a wheelchair from up under me. When I'm trying to talk to the discharge, they're supposed to give you some type of paperwork. Some type of discharge, if you have more pain, come back to the emergency room, go see your doctor immediately, something like that.
Discharge instructions.
Exactly. So they yanked the wheelchair from up under me. I hit my head on the floor, wound up with a concussion. Next thing I know, I'm sitting on Ballinger inside of one of their wheelchairs. When I come to, I tried to call the police, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. They about to flip the script on me. Black man goes crazy in hospital or whatever. And
they had you on their mental ward. They shot you right there early.
Shot you early on 2.
4. Oh, it's 2? It's 2 now?
Yeah.
Oh, it used to be 4, right? When I was a kid, they be up on
what
4.
happens after that, police come. This lady disappears, never comes back and talks to me. She goes and talks to them first, then comes to talk to me, and then she just disappears. I'm sitting there waiting to find out what's going on. I go talk to, what's his name, Layton?
Yeah.
The prosecutor?
Prosecutor Layton, yeah.
About prosecuting whoever it was that pulled the chair from under me. She said, well, you got to get a police report first. I go to the police department, get a police report. Lady didn't fill out a report. I'm trying to chase her down to get a report. She didn't fill out one. So I want to file a complaint against her for not doing a report. And the guy I'm talking to, Detective Scott, sits there and threatens me and says, well, if you file a report against her, we're going to slam this investigation and do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, you realize that's obstruction of justice. He wasn't expecting me to say that. Have that combination of words articulated.
Oh, words is important.
And he was like, what, hubbub? He started stuttering.
Yeah.
And then a Detective Brown started advising him on what to say. And then all of a sudden, the investigation is complete within 8 hours. I'm talking to this guy at 5 o'clock in the evening. Within 8 hours, he calls, 9 o'clock the next morning, investigation complete, nothing happened.
How long ago was this?
This was a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I've been trying to, I went to the NAACP
come on, man, quit playing.
Here in Flint.
Bro.
And I went to,
you went to the
a few
who?
other people. I had.
Do we got one? It's a building here for that?
I had the president of Black Lives Matter on the phone with me.
You play too much.
When I was talking to the police officer.
You play too much. Which made you call them?
Because I'm
you hadn't been
I'm
shot.
a black man.
Only time Black Lives Matter when
You
you
got
get
get
killed.
choked out. They didn't choke you out. Now, they didn't choke you out. You might have got a little action.
I'm a black man sitting outside of a hospital with a whole bunch of white people that's going to say one thing, and I'm going to say another thing. And I'm like, I probably want to have a witness on my side sitting here about what I said and what I
I'm sure it might have been somebody white that would have told the truth.
Might have been. Have they yet? This went on 2 years ago. I filed a complaint with McLaren. McLaren ain't spoke to me. Ain't sent no investigation back, nothing. I even filed a civil rights complaint. They saw the videos. This is a different world we live in.
You got the video?
I want to see the video. All right.
I got it on my computer at home.
Well, next time he up here, y'all, we're going to see this video.
We're going to get this ball rolling for you, brother.
We're going to see this video because somebody that's watching going to be able to help you because somebody knows something.
You know what? The attorney... Nope, I'm not going to make a general blanket statement about attorneys in this town or anywhere else. But I'm trying to learn to let stuff go because if you let that stuff fester inside of you, it'll cause cancer and sickness and just... Because this was boiling me for 2 years. I'm just like, woosah, let it go, keep it pushing. Keep your mission up.
So what do you suggest to happen to you? What do you...
I know that people have been treated worse in the past.
What we going to do? Okay, let's get back to these. All right.
Well, we jump topic.
Yeah, I ain't gonna, but we ain't gonna veer off the
road.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds funny.
I was just making a little joke. I'm not saying it.
No, that's why I feel alienated from Flint because even when I tried to get my taxes right, I moved to this town, bought me a house, and I try and get what's called a homestead. That's when your tax rate goes down because you are living inside the house.
You actually live there.
Landlords pay at a different rate. I'm paying the landlord rate because the city assessor doesn't want to give me a homestead.
Is your address here?
The address is here. I'm just telling you, here in Flint, people do what they want to do, and sometimes you can just see corruption dead in front of your face. And when I went to complain, even at the state level, it's like we ain't touching Flint. And I think a lot of people are scared to touch Flint, from the FBI to attorneys to everything else, because they know it's a different set of rules going on here for some reason. For some reason or other, all the rules don't apply like they're supposed to.
So what have you done about that to fight?
I tried to apply for a farmstead instead because I got 8 acres. I'm feeding the neighborhood. I got greenhouses. I got hundreds of fruit trees I've planted. She won't let me get a farmstead either. Because me and her got into it, and she just...
So how often is this? How often is
Stacy Kaka,
No,
or
I'm
Kaka,
asking,
Kake or whatever.
Is that an elected office? Is that elected?
I don't know.
office?
I don't know how the assessor is picked here. You have a city assessor. Probably she gets put in office. She was missing in action when I first tried to meet with her. Supposedly because of COVID, she was missing for 2 or 3 months. And when I tried to meet with her, she said, "You don't need to meet with me. You're all good." And then a week or two later, she says, "Nope, we're revoking your homestead and whatever." So I said, "All right, well, let's go around the other way, and I'll apply for a farmstead instead." And she refused that. And part of the problem was they double taxed me a few times because I buy property from the land bank and amalgamate it with mine. And when you amalgamate, you're supposed to get one tax bill. For some reason, they decided not to process my paperwork for 2 years. So I have to go back and pay back taxes. They were about to grab my property back for failure to pay taxes. I'm assuming I only got one tax bill because I got the paperwork to show that I brought all this property together. But nobody processed it. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe it was a mistake. COVID was going on. People were doing this, that, and another thing. Let me go help them clarify this. At the county level, because once your city taxes become delinquent, they go to the county. At the county level, they looked at it like, ugh. And they understood exactly what I was saying. I tried to explain it to the city. They're like, so, we ain't changing that.
You never filed a motion in the courts?
If I can't get a lawyer...
You could be your rep. You can represent yourself.
I am rather articulate, and I think I'm fairly intelligent. I've started my doctoral work and all this other stuff, but I am too smart to be my own attorney.
Well,
I know that I will mess up.
Are you too smart to have any of this in writing and to move forward to the next level? You're not being persistent about pursuing what you want. You're taking what they give you at the window and you're
Trust
walking
me,
away.
I am very
persistent.
I started the community center in Lansing. They told me I couldn't. That community center ran for 15 years without funding. I'm very persistent and very clever at about getting things done. I worked as a school teacher for over 20 years. I know how to work around this, that, and other thing. Flint is a different place, and my strategies don't work here. The same strategies that allow me to open up community centers in other places don't work here. So I know that I have to change, and this is what everybody has to examine. Sometimes you got to say, is this fight worth my health? Yeah. The number one killer of black men is not black men.
Stress.
Bam.
There you go.
Not white men.
We ain't gonna make this a stressful situation. We gonna change the channel on that.
So let's bring some more information next week on it.
Yeah.
Right.
And see if we get any people that reach
somebody
out and say something, or
might see this and be able to give you some information.
Right.
But
some viewers, somebody
like
give some pointers.
I'm not into your story is your story.
Mm-hmm.
And
everybody got a story.
I was around you for a significant amount of this stuff, and it's unfortunate because I have a similar story. I ain't gonna get into it, but I lost a lot.
The city is weird. The land bank cut down my trees, and they told me they wouldn't no pay me for.
We're gonna transition into the rest of these states.
My apologies.
Yeah. No problem. No, you good, bro.
We let you get off on your square, right?
We appreciate you.
You
know,
got
sharing
something
that
off
with
your
us.
chest, right? And so we see what happens.
Yeah. You never know what this
So
might do for you.
look at these schools catching on fire. Northern was just on fire yesterday.
Yeah, that was new.
Grand Blank,
Yep.
Davison. Imagine if they made the north or east side green. I don't know, a GRE.
When we had the school board member here, she was talking about the schools. They have a fear that these schools are going to get taken over by charter schools, which would be competition to Flint. I said they should give these neighborhood schools to the neighbors in that neighborhood. Let the neighbors in the neighborhood turn them into community centers, micro farms, because you got at least 5 acres of land. These buildings could be used and put to use for some good purpose, besides just sitting there as empty holes.
Yeah, I want to buy one of them. I'm interested in them.
They scared you're going to sell it to a charter school.
Well, the city is trying to maintain its property, at least the property, because if they sell this stuff, then that's when you become rezoned. If you get rid of certain assets, then you can become rezoned. They can shrink you. So one conversation that I heard before is that they want to rezone Flint to make it more part of Mount Morris and Burton and the areas around it. Because right now we're the county chair, we're the county seat. You have to do all your business in the city of Flint. But if they are able to rezone it, and then say, for instance, this area downtown becomes part of, say, Burton or Grand Blanc or something like that, then they get to rezone and say that they're the county seat. So I'm not sure how all that works, and maybe somebody can come down and
It's
explain
local politics.
But I'm saying that from what I heard, that Beecher's supposed to become a Arab community.
A what?
Yeah.
Never.
Nah, it ain't no never. This is when I moved back in 2014, I was going to these different meetings and relearning about Flint.
There are more Middle Easterners living in the Detroit area and this whole
And
vicinity.
Michigan has the largest.
I know
Than in the Middle East.
Dearborn, I know.
We know
that.
Dearborn,
more here
Farmington.
than
But hold on. When you say, let me say, when you say Beecher, that's a whole different animal. Man, you got generations upon generations of people that will not leave.
It's
Their
called
roots is planted. I know
gentrification.
gentrification,
It's called
but they had to do something to drive them out of there because they ain't going nowhere.
We used to have 100,000+ people, almost 200,000 people in Flint.
Yeah, but
There used to be a town in Detroit called Pole Town,
that's-
right next to
that's
Hamtramck.
some. I don't think I'll see it in my lifetime.
So somebody
for real.
fact check me on it. Somebody called me out on it because I'm saying this is what I heard.
Yeah.
This is what I heard. So
I just
Beach is
can't
supposed to
see
be
it. I mean,
turned
it's
into it's moving, changing into an Arab community.
part of the reason for this is
They done bought the
what I
store, now
was
they getting beach.
understanding. Nah, I
They
ain't
got a
saying-
few stoves. Steve them ain't taking over like that. Steve them ain't finna come down. Johnny's ain't coming to take a Beecher over, man. They, straight
Those-
up.
You talking about stores? We talking about community.
No, I
Black
understand.
People that,
I understand.
that are putting millions and are contractors and figuring out how to get the Sylvester Broom Center and so on and such and things like that. Things that we not paying attention to because we still doing corner store moves. We doing hand to hand, and they moving weight when it comes to creating city.
They making power moves.
Yes.
Look how they gentrified
I believe that,
Detroit,
but I can
and
see
that
it
same
happening.
plan's coming here.
I can see that happening more so in Flint
Yeah.
than Beecher.
Downtown
For me,
Flint.
I mean, I'm saying just for me.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you already had the mass exodus of the residents of Flint.
The white folks, white flight.
No, I'm talking about the black people. We ain't deep in here like we used to be. Growing up, man, I've been here all my life. I mean, you know what I'm saying, for real. So when Kresge's was open,
the
Hello?
gerrymandering already happened. So they rezoned or resized Eric Mays'
district.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they.
I used to be in the
Those
second
those
ward.
things that
Now I'm
help
in the
those
first
things
ward.
happen. So when you don't understand that, and you don't understand that the first ward changed the shape, size, and density, then we can't see that may affect how Mount Morris Beecher is affected. We don't see how, because it's all interconnected. It's not we are in a county. So in this county, things can happen within the county. We got cities, townships, and all these different things, but they know how to maneuver in these yellow ribbon or these
Yeah,
blue ribbon conversations.
I can't say what somebody gonna do with their stuff. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, but I'm trying to get up.
But the Beecher, I
Actually
just can't
applying to
wrap
get
my-
on the Beecher County Commission out there. I need to find out what's going on
Yeah,
myself.
so fact check me. Tell me I'm a liar.
No.
No, it ain't, but
I'm
you
saying- I'm
may
just
just
saying,
heard something before we heard
I
it.
want
That's
people
all.
to come back with information.
Right,
I'm not
right.
scared of
Right.
the words. I'm saying
Right.
my thing is the fear that ain't nobody gonna help me find out more information or get on the right track to make sure that I'm talking right.
Yeah.
And then we wake up and guess what? We trying to figure out how not to get a ticket walking across the street. And everybody else comfortable. And nobody care about 10, 15, 20 years ago who you was, what we did, what your family owned. It don't matter because it look completely different.
That's true, but like he did say, there's generations of people that's been out there in Beecher.
Yeah.
That's a different animal to me.
And,
Right,
and-
what I-
and- and if some of those people that have been out there for generations don't get into politics, so what? Y'all hit. Them generations just gonna get gentrified out. Y'all gonna be used to bees. And it ain't gonna me. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the system. Get mad at how politics work. Get mad at how
There's this thing called
doing
eminent
laws
domain.
and
Yeah, I know about
which
eminent
is
domain.
legislation.
scary.
get mad at not understanding how to.
We don't want to get mad. We
municipalities
want to do something about it. If
Get mad and do something about it.
Yeah. We want to get into it. Matter of fact, I don't
whenever
work
we create our
tomorrow.
own
I'm
towns,
going
they
and knocking on some
destroy
doors
us.
tomorrow.
Okay,
They
then.
destroy our Rosewoods and they destroy our Tosas. They destroy our towns.
Was that joint?
Whenever we
The
create our
one I used to go to. They having something up there this year. What's that joint called? Idlewild.
Mm-hmm.
What that's that?
It's up north a little bit up.
So
You
Idlewild.
been up there lately?
Yeah, I've been up
Oh,
there.
Ottawa?
Yeah. I went up
It
there,
ain't-
man.
it ain't glorious like it
no,
used
I
to
went
be.
up there. I know. I went up there for a few years. We was going. They having something up there this year.
Okay.
My wife was telling me about it. But I've been up there for a couple years back to back, and I had a little experience with one of them a person from a different race at the hotel. You know what I mean? They tried to just I cussed out. Then I even
We need to start reinvesting in places like Ottawa.
yeah. I mean for real.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm going.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so
Okay, what we got going?
these white people playing chess, not checkers.
Right.
10 years
Facts.
is too long since we've been at 90% since 2019. I'm not sure what the 90% part is,
Right.
Melissa. 10 years drinking bottled water. My son, Van, never drank from
who was
the
that?
water
Who
hose
said that?
or sink. So T. Sale said 10
And
years.
we
is-
still drinking
Yeah.
bottled water.
He
for
said
the
his
camera.
son ain't never drank from.
Put that
But it's
bottled
not
water
from
on.
Nestle.
or the hose. Is that, and then they was talking about city manager, emergency manager. Okay, and then
Yeah.
Rose X was like separation is the only answer. The system is doing exactly what it's designed to do. As long as we refuse to leave our masters, we will continue to be treated like we are. Cancer running rapid through Flint and T cells. Melissa, our current administration is about photos, not nothing for the residents, but downtown.
Wow.
Our administration exploitative.
Who was that? Who said that? Who said that about?
Melissa said that
Okay,
about
Melissa.
our administration.
Yeah. I can see that.
And we got a bunch of expletives about the administration. Melissa said, "Yeah, God keep me here for a reason. God kept me here for a reason." Melissa, that part, the governor doesn't care. She's part of it. Says Melissa. Yes, Miss Claire will chime in. So they saying we can get Miss Claire. So T-Cell's gonna get on Miss Claire
Okay.
to
Cool.
come down so we can get some
T
answers.
Sales is interacting with us today. That's a beautiful thing, brother. I
For sure.
appreciate
He
that.
gonna
for
chop
real.
this up and have all
Straight
kinds
up.
of
He gonna
little
have some
clips and everything.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like we need to
You
meet
might
this
go
brother.
viral.
You get over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you from the book.
Is it?
He grew up with me in the villa.
Yeah.
He
What's
told
that?
me, he said, man, yeah, I remember when you had that townie. I said, hold on, he know me.
Oh, that Tony?
Yeah, my
Oh,
townie.
my
He
God,
said,
I'm gonna
man,
get
I
killed
remember
with that
we was in Park Villa and you had the townie, and Bo had his townie, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, you know me for
Yeah,
real.
that was your first
He called
Cadillac.
in. Yeah, you better know it. Yes, sir.
So let's finish them up. So
Okay.
tell the current administration
My man.
to use the ARPA money like it should. We don't have enough police here, Melissa.
No, we don't.
Melissa, again,
No.
you could have asked for what? I'm not sure what you were saying, Melissa. You could have asked for camera. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's off camera or for camera. It says for camera, but I don't remember what we were speaking about. I think NAACP is a joke in Flint. It
Yep.
says T Sales.
I agree.
It says the same thing about
T Sales, we got to get you up here, man. Go ahead.
Man, I tried to get him up. Maybe
I'm gonna
you
see if I can
him
get him up here next week. I'm just gonna ask. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For real, because he got some valid points. You know what I mean? He need to be at the round table as well.
Say Melissa says my son is biracial and get a few behind me, and I'm grateful. Wednesday at council meeting, I will be speaking. Okay.
Okay. See, that's when I do my mentoring on Wednesday, so I won't be able to be there.
Rose X, the NAACP stood up for us in the 1950s and 60s. Now the only stand for Freedom Fund dinner. Okay, that's
Yeah.
Melissa. That's Rose X. Please show up for council meetings. That's Melissa. Words are heard in person than not. I guess words are heard in person. So when you go in person, they hear you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I actually went in front of the city council to complain about some of this stuff. Nothing happened.
like you say, Flint is a different beast, and in order to move Flint, you
Yeah,
cannot.
but we got to keep coming though. We got to get some
Yeah.
new blood, some new energy.
Squeaky's wheel get the most attention.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got to keep going.
Sometimes Squeaky's will get replaced.
You got to do a
I
lot.
mean, well, that's what it come with it.
Yeah, we're not afraid of that though.
Right. You can't be afraid that you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, this ain't no. This, it's a whole different beast here.
Right.
You know, that's why when we go other places, people don't understand how to break us because we can't be broken. Because here's, look, hey, words are heard in person. Northwestern actually sit in Mount Morris Township, Bucktown for life. This is all T says.
Okay, see, that's T.
No,
Beecher
Beecher
in our water.
Beecher is a community.
Make good Kool-Aid.
He said, "Hell no, Beecher gonna always be the buck."
Yeah, I'm telling you guys. That's what I said. I've been gone and came back and it's still.
He said, "Tornado
The
chased
buck.
all the white people out of Beecher."
Yeah, it did.
He ain't lying.
The landscape of Beecher,
Just like Dorothy Hutt.
the landscape of Beecher
1953.
looked way different
Might have been 52.
from 30,
Yeah.
40 years ago.
Didn't it go up Coldwater Road? No.
Came down cold water.
Came down Coldwater.
Straighten it out.
Yeah.
He said, Idlewild right by Baldwin, Michigan.
Hey, they got something up there at Iowa this year. I don't know. It's gonna be this spring, this summer or something. They have a nice little thing. I went up there and had seen Zap. You know
Blessing.
what I'm saying?
Oh, Zap? Okay.
Yeah, it was
I think he
nice.
said
man.
blessing of the bikes.
Matter of fact, hold on. Martin Banks was telling me we supposed to go up to Iowa this year. Me, him,
Okay.
Darren Ashburn,
Okay.
and Mark Boxley. Yeah, we all supposed to and take our
I ain't
wives
seen
and stuff.
Darren. Wow.
Yeah, he trucking.
You
Oh,
got
okay.
both
Good
the
dude.
brothers, right? Sheldon and Martin.
Yeah.
I was supposed to-
I know. I can call him.
I was supposed to interview them a couple times.
I'll
You
get
them
Martin
in,
up here.
'cause I got
Or
both
Shelton,
their numbers.
whichever one.
Both
Yeah.
because I told them I'll interview both of them together.
No, you can one at a time. They two different individuals.
I get it. I didn't interview Martin.
Okay.
But I want to get them both and individual.
Okay.
So I want
I
both
see
of
what
them.
I can do to help you
Yeah,
on that.
and
Oh yeah, you should be able to get that done.
Yeah.
I just
They very approachable, cool
Right,
people.
right,
yeah.
yeah. They've always been
I
down
got
to
their
earth.
numbers and everything.
They always been down to
Locked
earth.
up, and they pick up when I call. It said it was pertaining the hospital, the Flint After Dark podcast. Somewhat knows me. We never met in person. Okay, that was the last one. We got you, Melissa. We heard you.
Yep.
So we're gonna end it out.
Yeah, so this has been another segment with Lessons with Larry. And we're going to get back here next week, 6:30, you know what I mean, and cover some more topics live and hopefully get spark some good dialogue. And I'd like to see is any rest of the gentlemen would like to say, starting with you, Mr. Brown.
I think that the example made by Mr. Cole is an example that all our people should follow. An apology is not demeaning or belittling to the person that gives the apology. And sometimes, brother, I apologize for stepping on your shoe.
Yes, sir. And I apologize for stepping on you. I mean, it's okay to apologize. That's part of
That
being
don't make you
civilized.
less of a man.
That's part of being civilized and owning up to your own bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Owning up to your own. You know when you're right, you know when you're wrong.
Right,
And
right,
some
right.
people would rather go down a one-way street and GPS say go this way and you're going to go the other way and then you're going to keep going instead of turning around and coming back because you know you have made the wrong turn. So, you know what I mean? Apology is something that we really need to do and check yourself so ain't nobody else got to check you.
True story.
A lot of beefs would have been squelched very quickly
Right.
with a simple apology.
My man. Cal, what you know?
I've enjoyed this podcast and been able to speak my mind, and I'm always available if you guys want to have me back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Look me up.
Yeah.
I'm always ready to march, fight,
Yep.
stand for something.
That's right.
Let's go downtown right now and protest this.
It's
war.
too late, man. It's too late. They going home now.
Just know, brother, I'm ready. I stay ready now.
That's right.
Yeah, I stay ready.
That's
so
right.
I'm for whenever you guys are ready to do something on feet outside of the podcast, I'm with you.
Okay, flat out.
You got a brother that's gonna ride with you to the end.
That's right. No,
So,
Brother
just know
Grundy.
that.
Well, I appreciate another dynamic conversation with you, gentlemen. We need to make sure that we bring more in-depth information to where we can direct people as us being men and us being natural leaders, that we can lead people to the information and make sure that they don't just have a longing and a thirst, but they have a fulfillment, and that hunger is full.
Somewhere they could tap into and get their food, get their
right.
issue,
Because
get their nourishment.
Out of the mud ain't going nowhere.
That's right. And neither is lessons with Larry.
Exactly.
And I want to send a special shout out to T Sales, and I want to spend a special shout out to Melissa, because you show up, you come to the podcast, and we appreciate you. We definitely appreciate your opinion and your views, and everyone else that took the time to join in on the conversation and send their words.
All right. My last thing is give a shout out to T Sales again, and to James Mayfield, the greatest Mayfield.
Yeah, my fault. Yeah,
the other half of Out of the Mud.
That's right. Lessons.